Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Got Next podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Baldwin, with my co-host, Donovan Moore.
Yes, sir. What's going on, fellas?
Yep. Been a Bo's Nate Ash at the bottom of your screen. Say what's up, B.
How y'all doing, fellas?
Yep. So it is week 8. Almost about halfway through the season. I think we'll be doing our halfway through the season awards in a little bit, in a couple weeks here. But this week, we got your week 8 matchups like we always do, man. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Follow us on the socials at the Got Next podcast. And without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Three-pointers. Outside jumper from 3 at the bucket.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into our first matchup of the week. We're not going to count the Rams and the Lions game. I mean, the Rams and the Vikings game. So we're just going to go ahead and get started here with our Sunday slate. We have the Ravens and the Browns starting off here now. I feel like we can get this one out the way, fellas. Is anybody picking the Browns in this matchup? Well, there we go. Deshaun Watson obviously tore his Achilles last week. We wish the best for his Achilles and everything like that. But yes, that's about really all I have to say. I think Jameis Winston is starting this week, so I think a lot of the Browns fans are optimistic, and we'll see what happens. In our next matchup here, the Titans and the Lions. I feel like this is another one. Is anybody going to pick the Titans in this matchup?
Nah.
There you go. I feel like we're just getting them out the way pretty fast here. The Colts and the Texans. Maybe we should – I don't know. How do you guys feel about this game? Go ahead, B.
I think it could be a close game. Like it's a division matchup. The Colts are all right, well coached. But I think Texans will get the dub. Like I want to make a courageous pick like the Colts, but just don't really see it happening tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with B. I'm going with Houston as well. They played Green Bay competitive last week, and I'm pretty sure they're going to bounce back. Good teams beat teams they're supposed to. So I got Houston.
Yeah, I don't think C.J. Stroud will be throwing for 86 yards again this week. I think he'll be a lot better, and the team's offense will look a lot better as a result. Next up, we have the Packers and the Jags. Jeez, man. I think this is the most we've had in a row where it's just lopsided. Is anybody picking the Jaguars in this match?
We're going to see some weird upsets, but I can't really see it right here. I know Jacksonville's won 2 out of their last 3, but it's against the Colts at home, who they've beaten for like a decade straight, and then the Patriots in their other home, London. Packers are hot, man. Jordan Love's looking good. They look confident. They're running the ball well too, playing pretty good defense. So I'm going to stick with the Packers.
Yeah, I agree. Packers are really hitting their stride right now. Similar to Baltimore, I think. I think they may have started out the season a little slow, and both those teams are hitting their stride at the right time. So I got Packers as well.
Yep, same thing. I'm going to go with the Packers. Definitely be watching out for Travis Etienne. I think that he's definitely a trade target there, especially with Tank Bigsby doing what he's doing so far. Next up, we have the Cardinals and the Dolphins. This one is definitely more of a pick 'em here. B, who are you picking in this matchup?
I'm going to rock with the Dolphins in the return of Tua. I think he's going to make a strong comeback. Obviously, we all know what kind of quarterback Tua is at this point. They're much better with him. He's not a star or anything, but he's obviously points that team in a different direction. When you have a guy like Tyler Huntley or Skylar Thompson instead of Tua, it's a big downgrade. So I think the team will rise up in his return, hopefully protect him, and I think Tyreek will come back to life for you fantasy owners who have Tyreek.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins as well. The Cardinals are they're almost like the West Coast version of the Falcons. They're an extremely up and down team. They'll kind of have an upset here and there, but then they'll kind of lose to teams you think they could beat. And then, as you mentioned, Tua is back. So hopefully Tyreek Hill can get back on track for my fantasy. And I'm going to go with the Dolphins this week.
You know, every time the Cardinals come up, I feel obligated to bring this up. They lost to the Commanders 14-42. I'm going to continue to bring that up, all right? That is a spot where you should at least be competitive. That is ridiculous. 14 points. No, I'm picking the Dolphins here. And B, you really tugged on my heartstrings, Dan. You really tugged on my heartstrings with that Tyreek Hill pick, man. He's been on my fantasy team all year, sucking trash. Put up 2 points last week. I'm excited. That's all I got to say. I'm excited. This next matchup, the Jets and the Patriots. Is anybody picking the Patriots in this matchup? Even though they look a lot better with Drake May, I will say.
The Jets have to get back to their, their rare winning ways. They got to get back to it here. I think their last win was against the Patriots in Week 3 on Thursday night. I mean, we've been saying the last couple of weeks were a must-win for the Jets, but, I mean, certainly this is a must-win for them. Got to see them lose to my Steelers last week on Sunday Night Football. It was great to see. But, I mean, the Jets really, it's like you get Devontae Adams one week, and then you're getting Hassan Reddick this week. Like, they keep getting better on paper and just worse in results. Like, if they lose this game, just pack your bags. I mean, Aaron Rodgers might as well consider retirement if they lose this game because there's no coming back from a deficit like this. And they damn near need to win out the rest of the year. They can't lose more than 2 and 5. They can't lose more than 2 games, I don't think, to miss the playoffs. If they go 9-0, it's going to be good enough. So, yeah, they're really holding on by a fingernail right now.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets as well. They've been struggling these past few weeks, but if there's any time for them to get it done, it would have to be versus New England this week. So, I mean, they made all the trades for Aaron Rodgers. They got rid of the coach, so it's pretty much on him from this season on out. So I'm going to go with the Jets, and they pretty much got to see where their season goes from here.
Yep, definitely going with the Jets here. Not much to say. I mean, if you lose this game, the season's actually over. Everything's done. It makes no sense. Like I don't know. I feel like everybody's on the trade block if you lose this game. But the tricky part is they already played the Patriots, and they kind of blew them out. So it's like, the Patriots. That's a bad taste in their mouth. This is interdivisional, right? Yeah, divisional matchup too. It might get nasty. So honestly, yeah, the Jets. It's going to be actually a little bit difficult for them to win that game, but I ultimately think that they will. Another interdivisional matchup, the Falcons and the Bucs. B, who are you picking in this matchup?
Man, I said before the season, like between these two teams, I trust the Bucs more, but I think they're at a huge deficit not having Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. And I know the Falcons can score, but the Falcons can also be very inconsistent. Like, what the heck was that last week against the Seahawks at home? Not saying the Seahawks are any worse than they are, but to lose 34-14 on your home field, like that's the type of results you're going to get with Kirk Cousins, your quarterback. You're going to have great games like he had against the Bucs a couple weeks ago on Thursday night. Kudos to him. He's starting to win primetime games, but damn, you're going to get performances like he had week 1 against the Steelers and then last week against the Falcons where he just looks abysmal and the team follows suit. So, I mean, I could really still see the Bucs winning this game. Like, I think Baker's just got a little more of it than Kirk Cousins when it comes down to it. But him having that huge deficit receiver is like, who the heck is he going to throw to? So I do think the Falcons probably squeak out an ugly, hideous win. It might be too bad for TV. I think it's going to be a terrible game, but I think the Falcons – the last one was a great game. I think this one's going to be a terrible game, and the Falcons squeak it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons as well. The Buccaneers are just a little too injured offensively. And then on top of that, the Falcons, as we pretty much say every week, they're an inconsistent team. They lose one, and they'll come back and win one. So being that they just got blown out at home last week, I'll take them to win against Tampa. And with the injuries Tampa Bay has, it looks like the Falcons may go with this division, to be honest. It's yet to be seen, but
they sweep them, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they have a great shot at winning the division. So this is kind of a big game for both teams, honestly. So I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Yeah, definitely a big game. I mean, the Bucs have some weapons. I mean, Sterling Shepard, or I think it's Sterling Shepard. He's been out there for most of the year. He's all right. You know what I mean? He's like a third guy. But then Cade Otton is pretty good. Cade Otton is solid. I think he'll get a lot of targets. Rashad White is really good at receiving the ball as well. So they might have to pass it to him a little bit more. So, I mean, they got some playmakers. But ultimately, I think I am going to go with the Falcons here. But definitely a big game for both teams. Next up, the Eagles and the Bengals. Definitely a more difficult matchup here, but I think I'm ultimately leading one way. B, who are you picking for this one?
I mean, I like the similarities in this matchup. It's like two teams that kind of need to get it done. Two coaches who I'd say, I mean, publicly, the Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni has been more criticized on the hot seat, but I mean, I could see Zach Taylor being in the same situation. Maybe if he wasn't the coach of the Bengals, who keep a coach like Marvin Lewis for 18 years with 0 playoff wins. But I mean, it's kind of like two underperforming teams since they've lost the Super Bowl. Both have great potential because of the weapons. Both have two good receivers. Both are in competitive divisions right now. I'm going to go with the Bengals because I think this is the time of the year. If you kind of follow the Bengals year by year, they always start out very poor, and then they pick it up this time of year. And, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase get really hot. Defense starts playing better. I don't know if they have that in them in this defense, but the Eagles are just a little inconsistent. They finally had a big win last week, but it was against the Giants, albeit on the road in Saquon's return. I think the Bengals get a hard-fought victory here.
I agree with your point, B, that this is usually the time of year where the Bengals start to hit their stride, going into November, late season, where teams are kind of finding their identities a little more. So I'm gonna take the Bengals in this one as well. I think they're gonna start catching their stride. Joe Burrow, of course, he has that connection with Jamar Chase, but I think T. Higgins could have a big game here tomorrow. If there's a weakness with the Eagles, I feel like it is their secondary. So I feel like the Bengals should attack that, especially with the talent they have on the perimeter. So I'm going to take the Bengals to win this game, but it will be a very close game because the Eagles, the way they run the football, can stay in any game. It's just that they're going to commit to running the football. That's kind of their problem. So I'm going to take Cincinnati.
I wanted to pick the Bengals at first, but then I thought about how bad their defense is. So I'm going to go with the Eagles in this matchup. Honestly, from what I've seen from Saquon Barkley, I feel like as long as he's on the field and he's healthy, the Eagles have a pretty good chance of winning games. A.J. Brown's looked pretty good. Devonta Smith was trash last week, so I know he's looking to get right this week. I think Goddard's still out. But ultimately, yeah, I think the Eagles' defense is not great, but, I feel like it is better than the Bengals a little bit. And the offense is So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles. And then you got to factor in the QB because the QB can rush. So, yeah, I think Jalen Hurts might have a day as well. Yeah, I'm going to rock with the Eagles here. We got the Saints and the Chargers. Nasty matchup, B. I think it's going to be kind of gritty. Who's going to win this
one? I'd say so. What a disappointing loss for the Chargers last Monday at Arizona. Like, if they're really a decent team, you got to win a game like that. I know Cardinals kind of catch teams on their off days. They beat the Rams, Niners, and now the Chargers, but I guess the Cardinals are undefeated against California so far. But besides that, the Saints just look horrid on the defensive side of the football and offensively since starting 2-0. So I mean, I think Spencer Rattler's still playing tomorrow, right?
So, yes.
Yeah, but even if Derek Carr was there, I still lean towards the Chargers. Like, I got to have some trust in Jim Harbaugh. He's going to point this team in the right direction. They haven't really sunk under him yet. They just don't score a lot of points. It's really because they have a huge void at receiver. They don't have any good receivers. I think Quentin Johnson's almost kind of a bust, honestly. But I don't even think he was supposed to take on this kind of role. But they traded Keenan Allen. The Chargers really. Jim Harbaugh took this job. I think knowing deep down in his heart that he wasn't going to have much of a team this year, and he had to coach them to most of their victories. Obviously, he's competitive, but this team just does not have what it takes to. I think they're heading towards like a 9-8 team, I'd say. So I don't think it's good enough to make the playoffs even. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers as well. They had kind of a gut-wrenching loss against the Cardinals last week, but the Saints. I believe the Saints have lost their last 4 or 5 games in a row.
I think so.
5 games in a row. So clearly they're missing Derek Carr, and they may have some other issues here. The Saints season is going in a completely opposite direction. But I think the Chargers are a decent team in Jim Harbaugh's first year. I think this is a perfect matchup for them. They'll run the football, control the clock, and just get out of here with the win, honestly. So I'm going to take the Chargers just off of quarterback play and their coaching that they have on their side.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I can't pick the Saints right now. They've been absolutely trashed since they blew out the Cowboys. Next up, the Bills and the Seahawks. This should be a high-scoring affair on paper. Who's going to score more points, B?
I think this has the potential to be a good game. It's funny you say high scoring because the last time they played, the Bills actually beat them 44-34. But that was like the last good rust we saw on the Seahawks. But I digress. I think it being in Seattle makes it a game, honestly. And I know the Seahawks have been competitive throughout the years. They always just have a good enough team to compete. However, I do trust the Bills more. They are looking, other than their 2-game losing streak this year to the Ravens and Texans on the road, like they look like a pretty consistent team. Josh Allen still hasn't thrown a pick yet. And I think the Amari Cooper acquisition definitely, adds another element to that team. It's kind of like, if we're being for real, it's kind of just him replacing Stephon Diggs. I don't think he's quite as good as Stephon Diggs was for the Bills, but I think once him and Josh Allen get the chemistry down, he's got a legit receiver. Now they have a more legit running game than they ever had when Stephon Diggs was there. Their defense is well coached. I don't know if they are stacked, but I know Sean McDermott's done a good job just giving him 11 guys ever since he's had that job. So I'm going to go with the Bills, just overall better team, and these AFC teams, they need to win every game they can. Obviously, the Bills feel comfortable in their division, but for seeding purposes, they got to win every game they can. They can't lose to teams that they're better than.
For sure. I agree with you. I'm going to take Buffalo in this game as well. Usually in a matchup like this, even though Seahawks have home field advantage, I just feel like with quarterback play and the coaching that Buffalo has, and then Amari Cooper another week getting more acclimated with the Bills offense, I think this could honestly spell for more opportunities for Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, honestly, because Amari Cooper, we know the type of talent he is. So this could really open up the Bills offense even more. So I'm going to take Buffalo to win. I think it can be a close game, but I'll take them to win this one, like a 27-24 type thing. Like, it'll be a very good game.
I feel like anytime I see the Seahawks play a team that's like kind of elite, they lose for the most part. So I'm going to go with the Bills in this matchup just based off of that. But I think a lot of points to be scored. I don't know if DK Metcalf is playing this week.
I think he's out.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Then
I think he's out. Yeah, that's like, that's a pretty big deal. That means a lot for Kenneth Walker, though. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah.
Expecting a big showing from him. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills in that matchup.
The Bills should be able to outscore a DK Metcalf-less Seahawks team.
For certain. Even with DK Metcalf, I wasn't picking them. But so here we go. We got the Bears and the Commanders, the battle of the rookie QBs.
1 and 2.
Is Jaden Daniels playing?
I don't think he's gonna play.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think there's a good chance he doesn't play.
Yeah, you gotta look long term, especially with a rib injury and Jaden Daniels. He's a huge part of the Washington's offense. And then we play the Giants next week, which is probably a more important game than like a bragging rights matchup versus the Bears, so to speak. I mean, I think
the ratings, brother.
He's questionable.
Has the ability to get the win, but I just think like with the Bears defense, even though they're missing a couple guys in their secondary, I think with the receiving talent the Bears have and the Commanders' weakness as of right now being our secondary for sure, it's not really a great matchup for us on that point. And then no Jaden Daniels as well. I'm gonna take the Bears to win this one. It's just I just gotta look at the facts. I think DJ Moore could maybe have a good game here. Either him or Keenan Allen, I think, could have a good game against our corners. So I'll take the Bears. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I got to be real at the end of the day. I think Chicago can win this, especially with no Jaden Daniels. Like Chicago, I think.
If Jaden plays, are you picking the Commanders? Because Jaden is questionable.
If Jaden plays, I would take the Commanders.
Okay.
If Jaden plays, I'll take the Commanders. But I mean, I just feel like it wouldn't be smart for him to play a rib injury, and then the Bears have a tough defense. Montez Sweat, his first game back against Washington, so he's going to be looking to make some plays. I don't think it would be good to put him out here this week. Like we saw what happened with RG3 when like I was a kid. So like just let the man rest, look long term, and I think this organization and ownership will do that. So I'll take the Bears. I think they'll just let JD chill.
Yeah, I think that organization is completely clean house since the RG3 days, besides Dr. James Andrews maybe. But man, damn, that's disappointing. I was honestly, after this podcast, going to consider how to try to go to this game tomorrow because just the excitement of the number one, number two. Yeah. And every time I feel like the Bears play the Commanders, I feel like it's all over the years, it's always been unpredictable. This is like the first time in a while it's not on Thursday night. I don't know why they ended that streak with the anticipation, but it's huge blow if Jaden Daniel doesn't play. Obviously, they look good without him last week, like for the parts that he wasn't playing, but it was the Panthers. So I mean, I think Georgia might look good against the Panthers. It's hard to tell at this point. They just look pretty awful. But yeah, if he doesn't play, I gotta go with the Bears. And boy, do the Lions have to be annoyed, being the best team in the NFC, having three teams in their division just absolutely on their tails. But I mean, it's going to get really cool when these NFC North teams start playing each other later in the year, because we all knew this was going to be a good division heading into the year, but it's played out even better than I thought. I thought when the Bears started 1-2, I was like, probably not, probably not their year. I still think if I had to bet, they're going to come in last in that division just because they don't have it at offensive line, and obviously Caleb's a rookie still, but boy, they're definitely beating the crap out of teams that they should. So I think Eberflus lasts another year as long as they get those 9 wins, and a win like this, I think would be monumental for them. So I am going to pick the Bears, but if Jaden Daniels does play, I am switching my pick to the Commanders. But I think either way, it's a close game just because of like I said, the anticipation and how both teams have been playing this year.
Well, here's my pick. If Jaden Daniels plays, no. If Jaden Daniels doesn't play, I have the Bears. If Jaden Daniels plays, I have the Bears. I'm picking the Bears. All right. I like what DeAndre Swift has done on the season. It was just mentioned in our comment section. DJ Moore gave you guys 3 touchdowns last season.
Yeah, 200, 3 tutties.
Yeah. He went crazy, and then now they have Keenan Allen, and now
I forgot y'all don't have Jonathan Allen. Also, I forgot that's your best defensive player. You don't have.
And your defense was already not something I love, and I think the Bears' defense has been a lot better than the Commanders' defense. So I'm going to ultimately pick the Bears. I think they're a more complete team, and again, they did that with DJ Moore last year. Again, we have Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze now. There's just more weapons. Cole Kmet is now out there and doing some things like they have a lot of weapons on the field. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears here. This is a nasty matchup. But I mean, Bryce Young will be out. It's another battle of the rookie QBs, definitely to like a lower scale for sure. Definitely
no Deontay Johnson or Thielen though. They're setting Bryce Young up. They're setting that man.
Y'all remember when this was the Super Bowl almost 10 years ago, and where these two teams have gone since then is just
wow. Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's pretty much a decade of poverty for both of these teams. Yeah, like real facts though. The Broncos finally look like Sean Payton's, good coaching is coming into effect. Bo Nix is playing all right, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I almost thought about starting him last week. Then I was like, wait a minute, no. I was like, I'm not gonna get him off waivers. He's not nice like that yet. Not as good as the 2 rookies we were just talking about. But I think they're kind of going in the right direction. Unfortunately, they're just like the Chargers. They're always going to be screwed because they're in the same division as Mahomes, Reed, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, I mean, have fun. Just never being better than them. Denver fans just know that. Over the next 10 years, you guys are not doing anything. But you will beat a team like the Panthers. So, I think they will be competing for that 7th seed at the end of the year. The Broncos, they will be one of those teams that we got to zone in on because they are making a push, it looks like. And it's been a long time since they've been in the playoffs. It's been since the Peyton Manning days. So I think, they finally see an avenue to where they can slide in. But it's going to be tight. They're going to be that team in Week 18 that's either winning in or losing out. So
that was kind of crazy, B. I ain't gonna lie. That was a little wild. But who you picking?
I got the Broncos. The Broncos have an excellent defense, and the Panthers are just awful. They're putting Bryce Young in a bad spot, missing 2 of his top receivers. And they have a lot of problems just overall in the whole team. Denver's at home as well. It's not much to be said. Denver's going to win this one.
Yeah, Denver's definitely going to win this one. Not much to talk about. Next one, we can get this one done quick, too. Mahomes owns the Raiders, man. He owns them.
Chiefs.
Yeah,
Chiefs.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is a matchup I'm excited for, I'm not going to lie. Because I think of any year, there's going to be no nonsense this year. There's going to be no excuses, all right? There's no excuses this time. If the Cowboys lose to the Niners again with all the injuries that they're having, at this point, they already own them. So I have the Niners winning ultimately. But, B, I want to know how you feel about this.
Yeah, I'm still going to pick the Niners just because the Cowboys do have, significant injuries too. And the Niners usually do have a really good, next man up mentality. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's cost them a couple games this year not being at full strength. But I'm still seeing, them being able to run the ball tomorrow night. And I still think, I think George Kittle's questionable. But if he plays, I think he eats. And I think I just think the Niners still have enough weapons to do work on the Cowboys. And, is Dak Prescott going to rise to the occasion tomorrow night? His career against the 49ers so far would say otherwise. Dallas does win. It might say more about the Niners than the Cowboys, honestly, because might just say that the Niners without Christian McCaffrey are just not a good football team. But I think they win. I don't know if they blow them out, but I think they get the job done.
Is who do the Niners have playing receiver tomorrow? I know.
Debo's
Jawan
is Debo
Jennings
playing?
is out.
I thought Debo was out.
No,
I thought
he's,
he was out. I thought he
he's
was out of the
questionable.
hospital. I didn't know he was out for the game.
No, he's
Oh,
questionable. He's questionable.
Oh, he's questionable. Oh,
We'll see if he
I
plays.
got the Niners then. I thought the Niners had no receivers because I know Jawan Jennings is out. Ayuk's out for the year.
They got Ricky Pearsall too. Their rookie, was he a first rounder this year?
Yeah. But that'd be his first game, wouldn't it?
No, he started last week too.
Oh,
So
I still got the Niners though at
Yeah.
home. I feel like they're really going to rely on their ground game, and as you mentioned, be George Kittle. He's just going to make that. He usually shows up against Dallas, so I think the Niners will find a way to win. They were still competitive versus the Chiefs last week, as you mentioned. They just have a lot of injuries, but the Niners are well coached, and I think they'll just find a way to win. They've been humbled these past few weeks, but I think they'll get back on track.
Yeah, it's a lot of injuries on both sides, and that's why I'm like, it's really no excuses, honestly. I mean, they're missing Christian McCaffrey. The Cowboys are missing Michael Parsons. Like, you're missing good players on both sides. So it should be a nice, even game, even matchup there. Last but not least, we have the Giants and the Steelers. B, I know this is your team. We want you to go first, but ultimately, is anybody picking the Giants? I mean, yeah, is anybody picking the Giants?
Man, all I gotta say is I don't want to jinx myself, but this is the best I've felt about a Steelers team in the last like four years. Honestly, like,
wow,
we're scoring points. There's still obvious holes, and obvious weaknesses, but we're playing good defense. We're scoring points. It's like, how do we find a way to not win a game like this? Like, we really should just beat them to the ground, but I don't know. I mean, we're definitely going to win. I just don't know how it's going to be. It should be a statement game, but I'm glad what I'm seeing so far. I hope it continues. And we have a bye week next week, so good opportunity to get a win before getting, rested and gearing up for the Commanders game.
Yeah, Steelers. I think their defense will dominate. They're going to run the football. TJ Watt will probably force a couple Danny Jones fumbles or something. Steelers win.
Oh, and I just remembered a fun fact. The last time we played him, it was on Monday Night Football, and Big Ben outrushed Saquon Barkley. So, I mean, I think and Daniel Jones threw an interception to Cameron Hayward and the DJ Watt. So, I mean, that's giving me more confidence just talking right now. But, yeah, let's get this dub. No reason to lose a game like this.
I think I saw a stat that said Daniel Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown this season in their home stadium. Is that true?
There's something about – I don't know if it was exactly that.
That is true.
It was something that might have been that.
That's insane. Like, what? You haven't thrown a touch? Anyway, the point is we're going with the Steelers, and that is our last matchup for this week. Does anybody have anything to add before we close it up?
Nah.
All righty. Well, thank you guys for watching the episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And we will see you for week 9 as well as our halfway through the season awards predictions. So appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next week.